business. I now call to order, do you want to go, Brecca? Or did you want to introduce Vivian? Okay, go ahead. And then, we have a new commissioner for Ward 1, Vivian Lyons. So, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. And then I'll now call to order a public hearing to consider TA 0225, Stephen Brown and Pro Building on behalf of Peach State Trucking are requesting multiple variances deviating from the following sections. Section 9.29, wall signs, 9.37, billboard signs, and 9.30, wayfinding signs. The project is located at 460 Edge Road within Ward 5 and zoned commercial medium density. All right, Brecca?
Thank you, Chairwoman. Good evening, Chairwoman, Vice Chair, and members of the planning commission, as well as Ms. Lyons, our member, and the residents of Villa Rica. My name is Brecca Carter, and I am the interim community development director here at the city. I've been with you all for just under a month, and happy to be here, happy to work with you. Previously, you had Sean Daniels before you, but he has left the city. His last day with us was last Friday, so you'll be seeing a lot more of me. But I just wanted to jump right in to kind of piggyback on what was already done prior to my coming to the city. And that is the first request before you for a variance for Peach State Trucking. They have multiple variances for wall signage, building signage, ground signage, wayfinding signage. And the next slide, it is the most visible property along I-20 going into Villa Rica, right at Liberty Road. They have access off of Edge Road, visibility from 20, and Liberty as well. Of the 10 proposed variance requests that you received in your packet, 4 of them can meet the variance requirements within the parameters of the code. Outside of that, the other 6, you have the ability to approve, deny, or request any modifications to those variance requests. I'm going to get into what the property looks like currently, and that's the next slide. So this is the subject property as of today. It's about 148,000 square foot building that is currently under construction and is underway currently. Moving on, you have the packet. It is a bit lengthy. So, but for the sake of the public, I want to kind of walk through each of the slides, if you don't mind, Teresa. Okay. Just to give an idea of first what the face of the building will look like. You're good. You're good. For the entrance off of Edge Road, you have plenty of signage for the auto parts service right up, and the entrances for directional signage. More signage on the building, additional signage on the building for sponsorships and partners. Drive-through will call on the building for access from Liberty Road and from Edge Road. A ground sign, monument sign. And the dimensions for it. And then it moves into directional signage once you get into the site that helps to direct trucks and other traffic throughout the property. It's about a 25-acre piece of property, again with much visibility. They are requesting a billboard sign within the requirements of the code, and I'll jump into the recommendation if there are no specific questions at this time. Okay, so the recommendations for the increase in signage, due to the fact that this property is such a large tract and has visibility from 3 frontages, the applicant has put together that master sign plan that we just went through, and they're asking for to exceed the 300 square foot maximum allowable wall signage. They've gone up to 328, and the code allows for a 20% increase for staff to be able to recommend approval.
But anything outside of that, of course, would have to be approved by this board, and finally a decision would be made by the city council. Next, on the east elevation, if you go back one more, I'm sorry. On the eastern elevation for the wayfinding sign, they're able to meet the requirements there. And to the next one more above, I'm sorry. There we go. The property has, I'm sorry. Go back up one more, I'm sorry. That's okay, we're there, okay. So then in the billboard side along I-20, approval based on the requirements and parameters of the code, along with additional wayfinding signage for the maximum allowable height approval there as well. So at this time, that is the culmination of my presentation summed up, but the documents are all online. If you have any specific questions, the applicant is here to answer any of those questions for you.
Thank you. I don't think I have.
Now, the recommendations are kind of a drop out of the staff report that are in this presentation. So this will be the same thing that you've seen in the application and the documents.
The only question that I have is like on the retaining wall, is it a sign or is it just lettering?
It's a sign.
Does it have like
Teresa,
a backing or is it lettering?
Teresa, would you go back to that document, please?
Is your mic on, Ms. Head?
Yes, I'm sorry, I'll pull it closer. Do you want the applicant to come answer it?
Yes, the applicant can answer any questions specific to the signage throughout the property.
Okay.
And we have, if you are with Peach State, please come on up.
Good evening.
Good.
I'm Stephen Ellis with Pro Building Systems. We're the design build general contractor who have been partnering with Peach State Truck Centers to build this wonderful facility. Greg Allhart, the COO of Peach State Truck Centers corporately, and Aaron Patterson will be the general manager of this particular facility and will be working here in Billerica. So I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. I appreciate it, Becca, for a great presentation. Can I say a few things?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the nature of the request is it's effectively we hired Phase 3, who is a signage marketing firm to assist us with the scale and the scope of the signs on this property. Like Becca said, it's 23 acres. It's a 140,000 square foot building. It's 90% tractor trailers that are driving in and out of this facility. So it's much larger than a standard commercial building. So
Yes.
while it seems like a lot of variances for signage, we feel that the proposal that we have before you guys tonight is in keeping with the context and the scale of the building itself. If we were, if we had little bitty signs on the building, you wouldn't be able to see them from anywhere. It's 45 feet tall at its highest point. Again, it's about 145,000 square feet. And it's, as Becca said, it's on, we front on 3 sides. We're on I-20, Liberty Road, and Edge Road. And just for our customers to be able to navigate the property and know where they need to go, this is the proposal that we are bringing before you tonight. We did have a lot of back and forth with your predecessor, Sean Daniels, multiple meetings, conversations to get us to this point, to a package that we hope we can get your support from tonight. So,
Okay.
and on the retaining wall, those
Yes.
are letters.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the signage on the front of the building's also like the same lettering?
On the, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no backing, it's just letters
Go to the graph.
on the retaining wall?
Yeah, can you go to the graphic? The one with the retaining wall? I think it's at the, is the retaining wall at the bottom? Yeah, keep going down. Yeah, right there. Up, I'm sorry, up 2, right, number 18. Yeah, so those are, yeah, just letters. Yeah.
Okay.
Can Greg say a few words?
Yes.
Thank you, Steve. Hey, I'm Greg Allhart. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Peach State Truck Centers. I've worked with Phase 3. We had our marketing director prior to this, so even more specifics. It's just not your particular questions about is Is it a sign on a backing like on a wood sign? No, it's
No,
not.
it's
That's about a $50,000 metal fabrication. That particular, we plan on lighting from the front. So will be seen from the evening now, not backlit. The sign that you'll have on the building will be backlit. And so that one is about $80,000 for that particular sign that will be on the building. And like Steve said, it's a large building, and we had to go to them because I am not a visual person myself so to even try to figure out what size, we had to go to the professionals and said, for this size of building, this is the right size of a particular sign in order to hang on the building for
Okay.
visibility.
I have one more question.
Sure.
I pass this every day, but are there two retaining walls, like one on 20 and one on Edge Road side? Or is there just one retaining wall?
There's one large retaining wall that fronts I-20.
Okay.
So on Edge Road, as you're coming that way,
And
no,
that's
you're.
what this Peach State will be on?
That's correct. It's facing I-20, not on, there are technically, because the property drops down that drop down into the property, no, there'll be no
it's
signage there.
The 20 side.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I mean, that's all the questions I have. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, ma'am, we said it lights.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks.
Okay, would anybody like to, oh, we have to have a public hearing? Okay. At this time, I'm gonna open public hearing. If anyone would like to, wish to speak in favor of the requested variances. What's that? Yes, probably.
I guess it's like the council meeting, I need to state my name and address.
Yes, sir.
Whether I'm a citizen.
Yes, sir.
Joshua Evans, 640 Clearview Street, Billerica, Georgia. Been a citizen here 45 years. I think y'all ought to go ahead and just give it to them. Why not? We knew when you all approved this during planning and zoning way back when they built this building, that the signs were going to have to be much larger than normal, because it is quite a large building, right? If drivers can't see those signs, how are they going to find it? Makes no sense to have a big old building and a little bitty tiny sign that a truck driver is going to blow right by. You got to have it on all access points. When you go into that place, you need all those signs to show you where to go. Just like you have at any other dealership when you go get your oil changed or whatever, oil service bay, tune-up bay, brake bay. You got to have all that, right? Lord knows we give everybody else around here what they want. We got ordinances out here that we don't follow already. So you might well just go ahead and pass that. I don't see how y'all could stop it anyway. What do y'all, when y'all planning and zoning, y'all don't, when they come before y'all, you guys should stop half the stuff that goes on before it ever comes back again. Like this, it should be stopped and nipped in the bud. All this should be nipped out before it ever gets to this point to come back again. We watch the same people keep coming up here time again. Variance. Y'all gotta do something during planning and zoning. Set some different ordinances, something, to keep all this from coming back. If you know what the building's gonna be, you should have said, hey, we know it's gonna be a bigger sign. There shouldn't be no issues. And then on the last one, I'm sorry to see him leave. You guys at the city of Billerica lost a valuable tool. You lost Sean Daniels.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak in opposition of the requested variances? Okay, now I'd like to close public comment. Would anyone like to make a motion to recommend approval or denial of the application?
I'd like to make a motion to approve items, variances 1 through 7, and recommend denial for item 8. 8 is the retaining wall 300-foot sign.
As a point of order, can we go ahead and vote on approval of 1 through 7 before we have a conversation about 8? Like, could I second the motion to approve 1 through 7?
Kevin?
No, not unless Mr. Newton agrees to change his motion. So the motion is the motion, so
Right.
there would have to be a second, or if there's no second, then that motion dies. If there's a second, then there'll be discussion and then a vote.
So can I go ahead and make a motion to approve variances 1 through 7?
No.
Just separately? No,
Yeah,
I can't.
he-
No,
there
you
are-
have to
I'll
wait for
amend
it.
mine for
Okay.
items 1 through 7, approval for items 1 through 7 in alignment with staff recommendations.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Unanimous. In regards to number 8, the retaining wall, what did you not like?
What's that?
The issue with the retaining wall?
Would y'all, I apologize, and on the recording, no one is going to be able to hear you. If you could just reach into your, and make sure your lights are on. Thank you.
Can we go back and have the 8th request for variance restated? Just so we're all on the same page about what we're having a conversation about right now?
Absolutely. Okay. Number 8 is for the retaining wall sign. The proposed square footage is 391 square feet, and the requirement is 300 square feet.
So the variance would be for an additional 90 square feet of space?
Yes, 91 square feet, yes, ma'am.
91 square feet. Do you have an image in the slideshow that you just went through of that
Yes.
sign again?
Can you zoom in a little bit?
And perhaps this would be a question for the applicant as well. Can you help me understand where this sign is going to be facing?
It's going to be facing on Interstate 20.
Oh, it's on the,
Yes, this is
Okay.
This is the existing retaining wall along I-20, and I think there's currently a temporary banner sign there. Right.
Okay.
There's an overall site map in our package that identifies every sign.
Sorry, Teresa, you gotta go all the way.
Okay.
Oh, this is
Right. Right there. Okay, so it's the cyan, oh, sorry, this, right there at the top, if you can point, that cyan bar. Right at the top of the wall, at the top of the page in the center, right there. So that's the off-ramp to I-20. The curve line is our property line, the off-ramp to I-20, so that's facing I-20, kind of in the center of the high point of that wall.
What would you say that signage is gonna be, like 1/3 that wall size?
It'd be, yeah, if it went, it'd be 30% smaller at 300 square feet.
Maybe this is also a staff question now too. Do we know of, is this kind of a commonplace signage on a retaining wall for an exit ramp for an interstate? Because I don't think I've seen anything quite like that before.
Well, in Metro Atlanta, there aren't too many of these types of signs, which was one of the reasons why it was not an approval through the staff. But of course, it's at your discretion to. It's pretty much about 150 or so retaining wall width at the highest point. And this is going to take up about 44 feet across, and then 10 feet, just under 10 feet down, for the length.
Okay, thank you.
It's a very large that retaining wall is over 1,000 feet long and about 30 feet tall in the center, so it's a large retaining wall.
I'm sorry, I've never attended anything like this before.
No, you're
so
fine.
Please, I was a little nervous even coming, so I'm sorry. So I guess, yes, without the variance, actually, for us asking for it, we can go up to 30% of the variance. So if we didn't ask for a variance currently in the code, we could go up to, I think I just did the quick math, a 30-foot long sign and not have to ask for a variance. So I guess what we're asking for the size of that retaining wall is 14 more feet. And when you write Peach State, truck center's underneath it with a big red swoosh, it takes some space. So anyway, I just sat back there quickly doing math. Is that accurate or am I inaccurate? Okay. So, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yes, no
Thank you.
worries.
So now someone needs to make a motion in regards to number 8, variance 8.
Yes, that's right. And, the issue with number 8 is that our ordinance says a variance cannot be granted for more than 20% larger sign. So you can approve variances up to 20%, but not over 20%.
Is this at 20%? Over 20%?
I believe it's over 20%.
Okay.
I haven't done the math, but I'm trusting you.
So if they stay at about that 328, 320 square feet, then they would be within the 20%. But because they asked for much more than that, we brought it before you all to make that decision. But again, city attorney stating that 20% is really the max to meet the true intent of the code.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you for that guidance. I'll go ahead and make a motion to deny the 8th variance in the applicant's package.
I'll second.
All in favor? So approved, 4-1. I will now call to order a public hearing to consider TA 0325. Skylar Evans is requesting 3 variances deviating from the following sections. Section 7.05 landscaping standards. The project is located at 615 Industrial Boulevard within Ward 2, zoned commercial, medium density C2.
Do we have a presentation before the public hearing?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, super. Yes, the next request before you is a variance for 3 requests to deviate from section 705 parking area landscaping and interior landscaping for off-street parking. It's for a property that has an existing 10,000 square foot building, and the applicant is hoping to build up a proposed car dealership. The site plan outlines the proposal as follows. So there are actually not 10 or 4, but there are only 3. The applicant is wishing to have a reduction in their, you know what, let's do this. Can you go one more? Yes, let's go here. Let's get that's perfect. That's perfect. And if you'll zoom in just a bit. Okay. So on the north end, the applicant is requesting for a 10-foot minimum landscape strip reduction from 20 feet to 10 feet. I'm sorry, on the frontage along Industrial. On the north end, there is a retaining wall just above to the north. Scroll down a little bit more. And the request is for a reduction for the landscape strip between 2 properties, which is 10 feet. They're requesting for a reduction to 3 feet. After speaking with the applicant, I requested that they consider on the location on the Industrial Boulevard side to do a reduction from 20 feet to 10 feet instead of 6 feet. And on the northern end, where there's a retaining wall, to reduce from 10 to 5. There's an existing fence there. If you've ever driven by the property, it's the property with the building. You pass it, there's a retaining wall, and the next property is fully wooded. And then next door is, I think, a Dollar General or some type of dollar store. And then behind it is just completely wooded. Staff recommends those changes. And for the landscape off-street parking area for a reduction in the interior landscaping, it was approval for that, as I believe the true intent of the ordinance was for any commercial or retail business, if you have cars driving in and out, customers, that they would need to have that separation for as a traffic calming measure. Mm-hmm. And the train is getting us every time. But in this case, those locations, if you scroll back up, just a touch, and those areas will be inventory. It'll just be where cars that are being sold will be sitting on the property. There won't be much movement there other than the initial loading, offloading of those cars at that location. So that is the recommendation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And the applicant is also here.
May I ask a question, please? Okay, and I'm new with this, so bear with me. But you say the additional cars are the cars that's going to be the cars that's for sale, that'll be sitting on the backside.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is going to be located next to where they're asking for the lawn?
So they're going to have a car dealership. The property is already properly zoned for a car dealership, and they want to reduce the landscape. We are required to have those small medians to separate a long stream of parking spaces to help calm, as a traffic calming measure, to keep cars from flying down each row. And in this case, there will be cars actually parked as inventory on the property, so there would not be any of that through traffic as you would have for other retail establishments.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone have any questions for Brecca? or the applicant?
This is really just a concern, but maybe I can figure out how to make it a question. One of the one variance request that I am taking issue here is alongside Industrial Boulevard, because even though there's no protection for pedestrians on this road, there are a lot of pedestrians who walk in the landscaping space between businesses on Industrial Boulevard, especially in this area. And I worry about reducing, especially if it's going to be filled with inventory all the way up to 10 feet away from the street, that it would raise a public safety concern because, you know, we can't control people walking down the side of the street. It's not like we can say, there's no sidewalk here, so you can't walk here. And I would be concerned about vehicles traveling at a high speed and reducing the amount of space for pedestrians to be able to walk safely from one spot to another. So that's the concern that I have with this proposed variance, especially if it's just to store inventory for a car dealership. I feel like there's probably some configuration of cars that could not significantly reduce inventory while also still protecting public safety concerns without approving this variance of 10 feet. That would, to me, present a significant public safety concern.
So I'll comment on your statement, if I may. So along the frontage, it's required to have sidewalks in. So that's part of the right of way, but behind the sidewalks is where that 10-foot landscaping space would begin. And I don't know if you've been to the property, has kind of the topographic concerns are just that it kind of slopes down anyway, just based on how hilly it is. And those were some of the factors I took into account when looking at this variance, but not for it to be go from 20 feet to 3 feet or 6 feet, but to, you know, come in and add just the minimum variance that you would need in order to develop the property. And I believe the applicants are here to answer any questions.
Hey, Skylar Evans. So in regards to your question on the variance, on the left side where it's highlighted yellow, that's the space we're talking about. So you've got another probably 150 feet from there to the road of green space that we're not touching. So she's proposed, I don't know anything about the sidewalks. I guess that's something with the lane expansion that's coming along.
Right, that's required anyway,
but
not specifically here.
Right, and so where the highlight area is, it's sitting a good 20 feet higher than the road. So you wouldn't have foot traffic up there anyways. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks to both of you for your clarification. I know there are no sidewalks that exist right now.
Correct.
But the sidewalks are already in the plan for building in front of the space.
When they submit their plans to develop the property, they will have to install 5-foot sidewalks. That's a requirement of the code for all new developments.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions for the applicant? No, I think we're good.
Thank
you. At this time, I'll open public comment. Would anyone like to make a comment in favor of the requested variances?
Guess I gotta state it again. Joshua Evans, 640 Cleary Street, Billerica, Georgia. I'm a citizen. Been here 45 years. I think y'all should give them that. Why? Like I said before, we give everybody else everything else. We sat back and we watched these boards and these committees. And we come to these meetings and we speak out. Nothing gets done. So sooner or later you got to take a different turn or a different route. Give it to them. Let's shoot the water all to the city, more water than the city can handle. Give it to them. Let's let them do 3 feet buffers on landscaping. Might as well. I mean, that's a nice addition to the sidewalks versus what's there now. I don't know if y'all been by there lately. It's been vacant for, what, a year, 2 years now? Pretty ugly. Growed up. I mean, somebody's going to bring something in here and put something there that looks real nice. I mean, that's like a sign. We're not wanting to budge on a sign. I mean, they're just trying to make things look good around here. They're trying to spruce it up a little bit. This car lot, they're trying to spruce it up over there. And as far as walking down Industrial, oh, look, that side over there, we got no sense to stay out of the road. So, I mean, that's not even relevant to it. As far as public safety, there's people that walk up and down that road every day. How many people been hit over there? Look it up. Look up how many people's been hit over Punkintown Road area or over on 78 versus that area. I think y'all should give them the reduction. I mean, they're adding stuff anyway. They're adding landscaping, stuff that ain't even there. Come on now. Like I told y'all earlier, we budge on other ordinances. I mean, I know that to be a fact. You know, some people don't have to come up here and put in for variances or special exceptions requests. And they get to put whatever they want in their yard. We just let it go. Ain't like nobody's going to really enforce the code anyway, is there? No. I answer that for you. No. Well, as far as community development, I mean, I think y'all should just let them just do it. We let everybody else do everything else. Why not just give these folks what they want, let them open up and make money? That's the end goal, so y'all can make money on taxes. Might as well just do it.
Would anyone else like to speak in opposition of the requested variance? All right, at this time, I will close public comment. Would anyone like to make a motion to recommend approval or denial of the application?
I would make a motion to recommend denial for 705 6C, the interior landscaping, on the basis that it's a significant departure from the 5% required. And I appreciate the desire to leave undisturbed land at the rear, but that typically isn't seen as itself able to create a practical difficulty to depart from this significantly. So, in addition, wastewater, which I think was mentioned, could be influenced, and aesthetically. So there are a number of things that contribute to general welfare sacrifices. So I would recommend denying 705 6C, interior landscaping for off-street parking, and approving the two 705 6As parking area landscapings.
Anyone like to second?
Are we able to argue that at all, or no? All of our stormwater is gonna be captured on our lot. There's no water intrusion going towards the street. That's what you're saying.
I'm sorry, Chairwoman, if you're letting him speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, how are y'all? Tom Womble, Caliber One Construction. We're trying to get this building started for these guys and been working on this for the last year. Okay? It's getting long, but to your point, what you were saying about reducing that on the front, The ideal here is to try to get our cars so that we can sell them just in that one area. There's already an existing retention pond that's outside of our property line there. We're already going to be landscaping everything in front, and every bit of the water that is on our parking lot will be going to our retention pond. So we're not putting water on the street. We're not sending anything towards the street. And as to the sidewalk will be nowhere near where we're talking about. It's going to be down by the street whenever they decide to widen that or whatever they're doing. And there's no sidewalk there now. So I think that we're splitting hairs here, but the landscape, if we wanted to, we could add landscape on the backside of the parking lot. If that means we need to plant a few trees back there, along with our rough trees that we already have, and more grass. But we're splitting hairs. And the elevation. This property is sitting up 25 feet off the road. It's not like somebody's going to be walking down through there. So I would say I approve it.
Thank you. Does anyone want to second Andrew's motion?
Yep. If there's no second, then the motion dies.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the 3 variances the applicant has submitted.
I'll second your motion. All in favor? Aye.
What did she say? I didn't
Oh,
understand.
she made a recommendation to approve all the variances.
Okay.
Yes. So all in
Yes.
favor?
Aye.
At this time, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.
Good time.
Well, did they give you your packet ahead of time?
No.
No.
No,
See, you
and
gotta
it's
get
fine.
ahead of time. So I usually get, you get the packet usually Friday before the meeting. I'll drive by there and just look at what they have.
Cause this.
Or they're asking, so I know kinda know what they're talking about.
Uh-huh.
What's that?
It's within the city website.